Listening to that is the Greens MP, Caroline Lucas, MP for Brighton Pavilion. She's a former leader as well of the party. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How concerned are you about losing your seat?
Well, I'm certainly not taking it for granted that it's in the bag, but I hope people will judge me on my record. I was really honoured to have been named MP of the Year last year for my work with deprived communities in the area. I've got a track record that I'm proud of. We've been able to, I think, really do good work with constituents, do a good service for local constituents. I want to be known as a good local MP. That's my aspiration, and certainly the feedback that we're getting is positive. So I'm hopeful. Ashcroft puts us 10 points ahead, but that's one poll. We're hopeful that that's the case, but we're working hard.
Are you being damaged, though, by the local council in terms of your election? Because an astonishing figure that there you are, the Green MP, and your local council is the worst council in England for recycling.
Well, it's not the worst, but it's not doing well. But I think there's a background to that. You mentioned in your earlier piece today the very damaging bin strike. I think it's really important to look at what was behind that bin strike. Actually, the council had been left a poisoned chalice by the previous administration.
So it wasn't the council's fault.
Well, can I just explain in 2 seconds, because it always comes up, this bin strike, and I just do want to set the record straight that essentially what happened there was, as I say, a piece of work never done by the previous administrations to bring the predominantly female workforce in, for example, working in school dinners and so forth, up to the same rate as the refuse workers, primarily men. That whole dispute was about equalising those allowances. So as a result of what the Greens did, we were able to bring those allowances into alliance, if you like.
And that was
really
the
important
cost
from
for
an
it.
equalities point of view.
Okay.
The cost was a damaging bin strike, but we are now turning recycling around, and it is now going up. And it's higher now than it was under Labour, so it's going in the right direction.
Of course. Now, most people, of course, will know you for your green policies, know less about your other policies. Let's start with one, which is a fairly significant one, the citizens' income, the idea that everybody should be given £70 a week, irrespective of what they earn or how much they have, and it would cost, it's reckoned, £280 billion.
Well, can I set another point straight? The citizens' income is not going to be in the 2015 general election manifesto as something to be introduced on May the 8th. It's a longer-term aspiration. We are still working on it. The aim is absolutely to be able to give everybody, as you say, a guaranteed non-means tested income, essentially because that means that you can get around the poverty trap. At the moment, we know all too often, as soon as people start working, if they're on benefits, then their benefits get taken away from
everybody them. Knows that argument, and everybody might agree with what you want to do, but what they'd like to know is how you're going to pay for it.
It would be paid for by reducing the bill that comes with the administration of the current welfare system, which is hugely costly because it is means tested. That is an extremely expensive way of doing things. Abolition of the personal income tax allowance, and many other changes in terms of relief on pension contributions.
280 billion?
But listen, when we come to publish our manifesto in March, you will see the workings out that we've got so far. But this is not a policy for the next general election. What is lifting the living wage to £10 an hour by the end of this Parliament. What is challenging the austerity of the other parties, so that we would say that what we need to be doing is investing in jobs rather than cutting jobs. That's a very illiterate way of going about trying to address the deficit. So what I want to talk about are the things that will be in that 2015 manifesto, which you will see when we launch it next month.
But one of the difficulties of this, I suspect you saw an interview that your party leader, Natalie Bennett, gave to the BBC Andrew Neil's last Sunday, in which, when she was pushed on a lot of the detail, there's plans for the British Army, which is to dismantle it and replace it with a sort of home defence force. When she was pushed on almost everything, at one point she was saying, I want people should Google it, look at our website. The detail seems incredibly slight.
Listen, we are a small party. We've grown very fast just recently, thankfully. We're now larger than Lib Dems or UKIP. But up until 6 months ago, we were a small party with a shoestring staff. We are not saying that we're going into this election going to win and become the next government. What we are going to do is to put forward some radical ideas, some visionary ideas, which this political system needs so badly. And what we're also going to do with a handful of MPs is to push Labour in particular to be far more progressive. Why won't Labour, for example, have the courage of its convictions and bring rail back into public ownership. That's what my private member's bill seeks to do later this month. Why is Labour proposing to spend £100 billion on replacing Trident? Why are they signing up to austerity?
One of the reasons I'm asking, you're being asked these questions, is that you could be in government. You could be re-elected as the Green MP and be part of a coalition after May. And so, not surprisingly, people are not just wondering, talking to you as a pressure group, the response effectively you gave there, why aren't Labour doing this? They're talking to you as somebody who could be in government with red lines on things like the citizens' income, or dismantling the British Army, or allowing open borders.
To you, well, all of that is wrong, if I might say so. The citizens' income, I've explained, is not going to be a red line because it's not going to be in the 2015 manifesto as an imminent proposal. I don't think we've even got as far as red lines. Our manifesto will come out next month. Clearly, if we were in some sort of arrangement, and we would also ruled out a coalition, so we'd be looking at a case-by-case basis, obviously not with the Tories, so this would be under the assumption that it was a minority Labour government. The kinds of things that we're going to be talking about, obviously, will be climate change, renewable energy, energy efficiency, properly investing in home insulation so that we can get people back to work and get people's fuel bills down and get climate change emissions down. The kinds of things we're going to be talking about, certainly, is looking at austerity, looking at not cutting so much of the public sector, bringing the NHS back fully into public hands. All of these things are things that we want to promote. And I think that's why our membership is going through the roof. We're now doubled in less than a year.
And you are, of course, now taking part in the debates. Are you comfortable that it'll be Natalie Bennett who will be taking part, your leader who will be in those debates?
I'm very comfortable that it'll be our leader in our debates. I think that she'll be able to be, first of all, putting forward a completely different view from any of the other parties. That's what I was saying earlier, that no other party is proposing a moratorium on fracking. No other party is proposing to scrap Trident. No other party is proposing to bring rail back into public hands. It's because we've got those clear policies that actually touch a chord with people and remind people what politics are supposed to be about. You know, you see the discussions between the three other main parties, and it doesn't inspire vision and confidence. The Greens do.
Caroline Lucas, thank you very much.